she been moving. Said she like the way that I do it. Yeah, I see you, girl, I've been zooming. Came through under influence.
I look so pale.
Is right here.
I know. Hey you guys, what's up? It's Tess. Welcome back to my channel. I have my friend from Estie school, Jacky, here.
Hi guys.
She just came over to hang out and we figured we'd film a few videos. Jacky manages a tanning salon. She's super young, 22. She is starting her own lash business. She wants to kind of like shake up the industry and start more of like a mobile service-oriented business. So she is such a hustler and she has like a ton of wealth of knowledge. So we just wanted to chat and talk about how to become a successful esthetician before you've even finished school or found your first job.
A couple of things we're going to talk about is resources that will help you advance in your aesthetics career before you're even done with school. I think a lot of things that people do, which I would consider kind of a mistake, is they wait until after esthetician school to start taking their classes.
I did start taking classes. I think it was like 3/4 of the way through school, but I didn't think, like, I was very nervous because I was totally switching careers. I was like leaving behind my job in media for something that I wasn't quite sure like how to make decent money. I didn't know how to take it full time. I wasn't sure if I would like it, so I was very scared, and I let that like hold me back from like really diving headfirst into the industry. So I think it's awesome so many of you guys like are eager to learn and watch this channel because you want to get a head start.
I would definitely suggest what Tess and I both did is outside of our aesthetics school, there was kind of another institution where you pay to take classes geared towards what you are interested in. If your guys' esthetician school is anything like ours was, it is very facial based, and even the knowledge that you get about facials isn't it's very basic. Yeah, it's not going to be very advanced like what you will hope for when you start. So I definitely, whether you are studying facials or not, like she is and I'm not, I would recommend taking courses outside of your class. I know that she took a couple facial classes at this institution called Concepts Institute and Aesthetics. I'm sure there's something similar to wherever you guys live.
Yeah.
I, at Concepts, took a class from an instructor who was a guest instructor there, and she taught me lashes. I took that class 7 months before I got my esthetician license. So
just gonna try things. Like,
yeah.
I remember you saying like I might be interested in lashes, and
I hated it.
Yeah, I remember that.
I really hated it. I absolutely hated doing lashes. I did a class. I basically went to esthetician school to do lashes. I was already tanning, wanted to dive into lashes. Went to esthetician school, basically did it for a month, then started looking into classes outside of that. Took my esthetician student proof, did a class in in eyelashes, hated it, and finished school being like, okay, now I really don't know what I'm going to do with my esthetician license. So I did take some classes in facials. I really wasn't into facials, that I knew for sure.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was still in esthetician school, and I got recruited to work at an eyelash studio because I had put my proof of training on my LinkedIn.
Oh.
Yeah. Even though I wasn't done with esthetician school, I still had pictures of proof that I did eyelash training. So they kind of assumed like, okay, well, this is a lash artist.
Yeah.
Like, which I was. So I got recruited. I was like, oh, I'm going to give it one more shot. I did it, and the way that they taught me how to do eyelashes, I totally felt different about lashes. I loved doing it. I loved the technique. So I guess something I would suggest is if you take a class and you don't really like it, take another class. All classes are different. They're all going to provide you different views on something.
Yes. So. Just like the instructor, like I loved Michelle the second like I heard her speak. I was like, she's so knowledgeable, so smart. She has like this like medical and scientific understanding that I just like really looked up to. So I loved taking her classes and like learning more about like the histology of the skin and more like a scientific approach. And I feel like that really influenced me like wanting to become an esthetician, because I saw a different type of like person doing it, if that makes sense. And there's also a few people on YouTube I really looked up to, or different like brand founders like Renee Rouleau or Nerida Joy or Shani Darden, who does mostly like celebrity facials, or even like a Kate Somerville who started her own like skincare brand. And she was like one of the, not the first estheticians, but she was around in the era where it just like started to become a thing, and she started going into medical offices and doing her thing. So there's just so many avenues you can go, and you can really like make it your own thing just by like falling in love with part of it. And
so definitely a suggestion I would have before you pick what esthetician school you're going to go to, or you set aside a budget to go to school, is definitely keep in mind that you will want to spend some extra money on side classes that are more particular to what you want to do. I definitely suggest doing that. Another tip that I have is for anybody that's into makeup artists. Sephora does do free makeup classes. I believe it's every Saturday around our area.
Yeah, you can probably get hours for those kind of classes like we did at Skyline.
Yeah. If your school gives you hours for going to outside of class esthetician geared different experiences, then that's a great way to get them too. I know I went to one of those. Like I said, if you don't like one Sephora, go to another Sephora. Keep trying it out until you find something that really connects with you.
And even if you have to pay for it, if it's a class you really think would be awesome, like there's probably a chance you can like write it off down the line as a business expense. And even with school, like I didn't know I was going to get as much of a scholarship as I did, but I'm so glad I at least like applied and was able to use the money for like extra classes, other things. So try not to think of like money as like an obstacle just because classes may, you know, be an extra expense you haven't had to spend your money on before. I think like if you want to do something, if you don't let money be an object, like you can find a way to take the class.
Definitely. And definitely don't feel discouraged if you spend money on something and you end up not liking what you learned, because even learning what you like and what you don't like is a big part of being a successful esthetician. Learning a technique that I hated made me such a better eyelash extension artist.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I'm probably learning, you know, ways you don't like to do facials, ways you don't like to sit, ways you don't like to stand, machines you don't get along with. It makes you really great at facials too. So definitely see learning as learning what you don't like and what you do like.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And yeah, just keep in mind like what you learn in school really is a foundation for you to do whatever you want. And you just have to be kind of like malleable and moldable to different job situations. Like just keep in mind what you learn in school is the foundation, and then you might have a job that requires a softer touch or a harder touch. Like that's what I'm learning now. There's always going to be a different technique depending on the studio. So just kind of be flexible with it.
Yeah, and speaking of work experiences, I know a lot of you are ready to dive into an aesthetic realm without even having graduated yet, which is great. So we also wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do to get your foot in the door in terms of working in the aesthetic world. And I actually am the hiring manager for a salon, so I'm going to give you a little tip on
boss lady
tips on what the boss looks for when she's looking over your resume. But a couple different salon spa places you can apply to is front desk at a spa, front desk at an eyelash studio, front desk at a hair salon.
Literally any, even if you're not an esthetician, any career you're curious about, there's always like an entry-level position to see if you may like trying it out.
Right. And something like tanning you don't need a license for. I know microblading you don't need an aesthetic license for. Just a blood-borne license here in California, which is pretty easy to achieve. Personal assistants. Yeah. A lot of places look for somebody just to do the scheduling, the books.
Makeup artist assistant, like on a film set. There's so many.
Makeup artists who also don't need a license. Hair assistants who don't need a license.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of different positions that you can start working in that you don't need your license yet.
Social media manager for a skincare brand or a makeup brand.
And I know a lot of schools, ours didn't do this, but they do allow you to almost do, what's it called? It's like like an intern sort of, but
yeah.
And you get credit for interning.
Well, I remember we had a classmate, Brandy, who like did the social media for the school while she was in school. So that was something she could put on her resume, like another job in the related field. So that was smart of her.
But I know like some schools, if you do work as like a hair assistant, you can get some credit towards your cosmetology license. So definitely ask your school, do you guys offer any kind of, if I'm interning somewhere else or I'm a protege to somebody in the aesthetics world, do I get any credit for that? It's a good question to ask.
Our teacher was so flexible with like those kind of hours. If there was ever like a skincare show or just like, she was so flexible. Like anything we were curious about that we spent our free time doing, she always like almost always allowed us to get hours for that.
Right.
You could even go get facials or different services you're interested in, and I feel like that's part of the education too.
Totally is.
Like feeling someone else's touch.
And then I do believe that if you go to a public school for your aesthetic school, that you can't do the internship transfer type of thing, but if you do go to like a private school like a Nerida Cinta, then you can do an intern transferring for some credits. But anyway, going towards
You're doing great.
You're doing great, sweetie. Go ahead, take the floor.
Sweetie.
Take the floor.
Wow.
Okay, some tips, and you can totally chime in too, based on what you've seen in classmates or what you have seen in your coworkers.
Okay.
But some things that I look for when I am hiring somebody is I will stalk you.
Yep.
And if I don't find you, I will find your parents, and I will stalk your photos on your parents'
You think
accounts.
your Instagram is private, but it's not, honey.
Yeah. No. So I definitely suggest do not make yourself invisible on social media.
Yeah. And filter your presence to be something. You just have to keep in your mind, like, my hiring manager, like, just expect that they would see it and just keep that in mind. Like, you don't have to be, like, you know, perfect.
Yeah.
A perfect, like, persona or something. Like, be yourself, but just don't post anything you wouldn't want a potential hiring manager to see. Because they probably will. Whenever I've hired people, I've always stalked them too.
Totally. But in the sense, if I can't find you, I already don't like that. I want to know who I'm meeting.
You got to be savvy. You want to know, like, sorry to talk over you.
No,
when I got my job at DermaPlus, my hiring manager was like, I saw your YouTube, and I was like nervous, but she saw it as a good thing. She was like, I see, like, you're very passionate. I can tell, like, you spend your free time, like, making videos, like, being part of education, and she really liked that.
Yeah, and trust me, your hiring manager will not care that you have a personality. They will not care that you have a photo holding a drink with your girlfriends. Yeah. It's fine. They will not care that you wore a crop top in one of your photos on Instagram. It's fine. But what is concerning is if they can't find you at all and they're like, okay, are you just hiding all your social media? Because,
that's true.
Like, what are you hiding? So I definitely always look for that and just look to see, like, does this person even exist, basically? Yeah. Second of all, I do look at work experience. A big mistake people make is they will put everything they feel is relevant, and I will look at it, and I'll be like, you worked there for 3 months. That is a big red flag. If you have worked somewhere for under 6 months, I would not list it in your work experience. It almost weakens your character to the employer because it makes you look like you can not stick with the job, even if you can. Even if you have one above it that says you've been there for 2 years, if you have one that says you were there for 3 months, it gives them the worry, like,
are they disciplined enough?
Yeah, are you just, am I going to hire you, train you, and are you going to quit? Because it's not worth my time then.
Yeah.
So that's something I look for. I do look at experience in booking systems. I know that kind of sounds like a minor detail, but that does totally skip a step with training. So if somebody is trained in Millennium or somebody's trained in Mindbody, then I do look for that kind of, so definitely if you are proficient in Microsoft, Excel, blah, 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 put it. Like, I know people get sick of writing, like, okay, it's assumed that everybody knows how to use Microsoft, but just put it. It's nice to know that you are tech savvy. I'm trying to think what other little things.
Yeah, a question I get a lot is like, what does an ideal resume look like? And it was tough for me because I had a great resume in entertainment, but it was tough for me to make the switch to aesthetics because I had never had like job in that field. So what I tried to do was make the most of all those extra classes I took, and I had like a little section like highlighting all of the names of the classes, and in interviews I always got asked like, which extra courses did you take? I think that really is important, and a big one for employers I think is ingredients. They want to know that you can understand ingredients, and then always like extraction and acne classes, if you want to go into facials, are really important. And then of course like knowing how to do a proper skin analysis, any training on microcurrent, any other like advanced technology is always applicable.
Yeah. Another thing I do want to branch off and say is probably the most important part of your resume, at least for a hiring manager like me, is not even really your resume, it's your cover letter.
Yes.
So when you apply for a job, please, any job, please include a cover letter.
Yes.
You know, that is your time to take the floor and sell your personality, which is really a big trait in aesthetics and really any job that you have. If you feel like your resume has nothing to do with aesthetics, it's okay as long as you tie it in. When I first started tanning, really my only work experience was that I worked at a yogurt shop for really way too.
That's still customer service.
Way too long time. And in my cover letter, I just said that I, have never worked in tanning, never worked in beauty, but I love getting tans, which was true. I'm a big tanaholic. I have worked in the same place for a very long time. I have built a relationship with my customers. I am comfortable opening by myself, closing by myself, and working as a team.
You're a people person.
Yeah, I worked early, I worked late, whatever they needed, consistent. So just character traits in yourself that you find can be reflected from another past experience, even if it's not directly related, can actually be exactly what they're looking for. Yeah. Now at my job now, I open at 9:45 and sometimes I don't leave till 9 p.m. and that's something that they saw that I did in my past job, and they're like, great, we can trust her. Yeah. She doesn't mind opening and closing and being alone and being with people. Yeah. She's down for whatever. So just definitely make sure that you also say in your cover letter what interests you about this particular job. Make sure it's particular and not generic. Why you are a good candidate for this particular job, and what your past experience, whether it's related or not in your mind, how it can transfer and relate to what you are applying for.
Yeah, and if you're not more talented than the rest of the group, you better be more hardworking, like Jacky said. I think that's huge. And another thing, I know I've mentioned this in previous videos, but kind of the secret for me, like for landing jobs, has been finding places like I feel like I would love to work and not looking for a specific application. So I don't know what you think as a hiring manager, but my past like 4 jobs I've had that I've wanted, I've gotten not because I've seen like a a space online. I've like created the opportunity myself by just cold calling, cold emailing with a cover letter, like you said, and just had like a really professional but passionate cover letter saying like why I wanted to work at that place specifically. And it was believable because there wasn't even like a specific posting. They just saw that I really wanted to work there, and then we would arrange like an informational interview, which I think is always great to ask for. I've never had anyone like turn me down for an informational interview because I think as a manager, it's smart to like make time for growing your team and at least hearing someone out who really wants to work at your company. So
yeah, I would agree. I really do prefer when people come and bring their resumes in person or they call.
Oh, yeah.
The camera's gonna die. How I got my job actually is kind of funny. I saw a post on Craigslist and it did not have the name of the place, it did not have a number, it did not have an email, it did not have an address. It literally just had the job.
Yeah.
So I called every single tanning salon in the Marina district where we work. Oh, wow. And finally someone was like, yeah, like we're hiring, like you sound so cute, you sound so determined to get this job, like, you know, we want to meet you, come on in. I got hired, I got trained, and then they ended up telling me that that was not their job post, but they were so happy that I called. They are forever grateful for whoever mysterious company posted that job post. I know. So funny. They're like, yeah, we got so lucky that they did not put their name or whatever because we got you.
I feel like this industry is so in demand. There's always people like shuffling in and out.
Yeah.
So I think there's a high likelihood, like if you find somewhere you really want to work, that they could create a space for you.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You know.
Definitely. And another tip too is unless you do have very specific work experience to where you are going to work, I would leave the negotiating on salary until after your training at least. At least give them a chance to get to know your personality, get to see your work ethic, get to see, you know, how hard you try, some consistency before you chat about that. That's my personal opinion as a hiring manager. I always kind of feel like, wait, like you didn't even give me a chance to like talk to you for more than 5 minutes. I don't even know you. Like I'm not going to give you anything more. I haven't even seen you in action. So that would just be my tip, unless you really can back it up. Like, no, I've had experience in this, I've had experience in that. And I have been in the shoe where I am that employee that has asked for more than what they are willing to offer in terms of salary. Yeah, with the eyelash extensions, because I did have you know, previous eyelash training. I was recruited. They clearly wanted me. So just definitely kind of evaluate the situation. Is it more beneficial for me to get the job, or am I kind of more beneficial for them?
Yeah, that's true. And I think you always have to know, like, people are probably going to lowball you at first, so it's okay to come back and ask for a little bit more. But also keep in mind, if you're very new to the industry, you're probably like not worth the same as like their lead esthetician. So get a sense of like in your area, like what the going rate kind of is, and you're really like not worth that higher end salary until you can kind of prove yourself. And
and even if you feel like you do deserve more and you do want more and it's just really not what you're looking for, I would just say at first, hey, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I really want to work here. This salary is not really what I was hoping for, but I am willing to prove to you that I want to work hard and I am deserving of more a couple months down the road. And then, you know, give it 2-3 months and then
time for an evaluation.
Just tell them up front, hey, I want to work here. I'm willing to settle on this now, but this is not like my permanent thing, and I'm going to work for it.
Yeah, and there's so many things you could like later structure on, like more commission or higher percentage of like product sales, or a higher percentage once you do have more clientele of those services. So yeah, I feel like that's a good little spiel.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure you go check your Instagrams and Facebook.
Yeah.
Sam, let us know if you have any questions.
Yes.
Otherwise, good luck with your job hunts. Good luck with finding resources outside of your aesthetic school geared toward what you want to learn.
Yeah, it was really easy to get Jacky over here. So if you think any more questions, just comment below. I'll lure her back with smoothies and coffee.
Yeah, it's only an hour drive. No biggie.
I'll come to you. But thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Love it when you say you won't. Love it when you say you won't.